Hello, my name is DJ Broken Record, and I made an album called The Crystal Sky, and these are some interesting, fun trivia facts, but also just like random things about the making of the album. I don't know what really counts as trivia, but it sounds cooler than, random things about the making of the album. So here we go. Okay, number one. Every single vocal performance was recorded in a different studio, and only one, which is SHINYNEWMACHINES, was recorded in my studio. Even Jali's two different tracks were performed in two different studios, one in Los Angeles and one in India, and I'm going to talk about that later because that one is awesome. Number two, there was supposed to be a vocalist on this song looking through the window, and the piece was written, but because of COVID, we could not record it, and so it became an instrumental. And maybe one day we'll be able to release the vocal version. Number three, all of the bus sounds on Looking Through the Window were recorded on an actual Santa Rosa City bus, exactly like the one on the front cover of the album. Number four, A Lighter Shade of Brown. I had ODM from A Lighter Shade of Brown give me a shout out on the record because A Lighter Shade of Brown was a huge influence for me growing up, listening to them as a kid and still now, and they still hold a legendary spot in the history of rap music. And the track that shout out is on, that was the whole idea behind the track, was making like a throwback or almost like tribute to that 90s Chicano hip-hop. I knew I had to get Ignite, who's like a triple OG, on the track. I contacted him and specifically asked him if we could do this concept together, the concept of like looking back when we were younger, listening to this music. Of course, the old style break beats, the strings sampled style. I always wanted to make a track like this, and I'm really glad that we made it happen. And of course, Ignite killed it and made it amazing. Number five, there is one Village People sample on the album. Number six, Broken Face is featured on one of the tracks and is actually my Teen Angst alias, and you can probably find some of the music online, but beware, it's angsty and it will probably make you cry. Number seven, Jali. There's a lot of really interesting things about this record having to do with Jali. One is that she never actually heard the song Crystal Sky in its entirety before the album was released. She heard it after it came out, and luckily she liked it, because that would have sucked.
I love how Crystal Sky changed, like with the fast section at the end. Especially when it was like, come with, and like the music comes on. I was like, yes, that's like my favorite moment in the whole world.
I got the name for the album from the poem that she wrote that she didn't even write for this song. She already had it and it fit perfectly. Out of that poem, I got the concept, the themes, the arc, the title of the whole piece from her poem, which is the last track on the album. Also, the entire vocal performance for Little Boy was recorded on Jali's iPhone due to COVID. And it sounds just as good as anything else on the album, which makes me feel embarrassed to have spent so much money on recording equipment. There's actually a part in the song that sounds like a little lo-fi version of the track. That's actually the sound of her phone microphone picking up the sound from the headphones that she's using to record. I left that in there because it sounded hella cool. Also, something I remembered recently that I had completely forgotten about is that Jali has an uncredited, barely audible vocal on the song I've Been Moving in the Shadows. Haha! Thanks for that. Number 8. Two of the genres that I produce most prolifically, Moombahton and Disco House, are not anywhere on the album. I don't know why, but I just wrote this entire album without those two genres coming up. Number 9. The singer Spirit, who's featured on the track High Strung, actually did a motivational Instagram story one night when I was feeling particularly emotional about something. And that led to me writing that music from the last song, The Crystal Sky. And that led to Jali putting those words to it. But the original title of the track was Spirit Night because Spirit had inspired me with her motivational speech on an Instagram story. Number 10. The track Perimeter Breach is inspired by the scenes in The Matrix where the Sentinels breach the Rebel ship. Number 11. Breaker is a track that came out of an entire side project called Breaker, which is all original techno music. But I've never released music from it, but I took this one track from Breaker and put it on this record. Number 12. The mix for the track Riverbed is different on streaming platforms than it is on SoundCloud or Bandcamp. I recommend the Bandcamp one. Number 13. Shiny New Machines. Shiny New Machines came into the studio and wrote the lyrics, vocals, guitar, and recorded all on the spot that night. The song was actually supposed to be a Dead Stare song, but I wanted to keep it for myself. She wrote all of the lyrics for the track based off the prompt Dead Stare. She also plays uncredited guitar on the track Breaker because that was the first track I showed her and that's what she played to it. And there you go, a totally arbitrary list of things about the album, even though there's a billion actual facts about the making of the album. Okay, check out The Crystal Sky on my website, Spotify, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, everywhere.
Oh, are you kidding me? I loved it. It was great, especially when it was like, come with me.